Yo, once again, it's on. Back at you one more again. Real Kens TV in the house like kitchen sinks. Hopefully you like the video. Feel free to comment, share, subscribe to the channel. Hit that post notification. Anytime I bring you this action, this heat, guess what? You're amongst the first to receive. Now, with no further ado, let's get into this evening's video, if you will. You know, a lot of people, they ask me in my comments. Some people text me, and they want to know about the infamous Fleece Johnson. Most people know about Fleece Johnson. If you're not, by chance, familiar with Fleece Johnson, just Google Fleece Johnson, and it'll tell you everything that you need to know. And best believe it's documented. You know what I mean? Now, a lot of people know, you know, I'm in Kentucky. Fleece Johnson's in Kentucky. So they asked me if I ever did time with him, you know, which is the answer is no. Fleece is way older than me. And they also ask about his stories that he tells. You know, are they legitimate stories? You know, is he exaggerating? Is he outright lying? My thing is this. Again, I've never been locked up with Fleece Johnson. So I can't really tell you. I've never met the man. We from the same turf. Not the same city, but we from the same state. You know, he's in Louisville. Hustler Spirit 502. Y'all go check it out. Hustler Spirit 502. That's where you can find all the latest and updated Fleece Johnson videos, if you will. But like I was saying, I've never met him. I've never been locked up with him, so I can't really say. But I will tell you this. I was on one of my deliveries yesterday. And I delivered to a gentleman. And, you know, we got to talking. And prison came up. And he told me that he had just served 35 years in Eddyville. Eddyville State Penitentiary in Kentucky. He said that he didn't do all of his time there, but he did the majority of it. And let me take that back. Let me rewind. I said that he said he had just gotten out. He had been home for about 7 years. So that's very important. You know what I mean? That's very important to mention. He said he had been home about 7 years. And so I said, wow. I said, are you familiar with Fleece Johnson? He was like, well, by God, heck, yeah, I know that son good. Those weren't exactly the words he used, but, you know, I'm sure you all can figure it out. I'm trying not to curse on my channel. I'm trying not to, so you all bear with me. And before I could really ask him anything, he was like, I tell you what, that's the strongest man I ever seen in my life. Pause. He didn't say pause, but I'm going to pause it for him. And for you all that don't know what pause means, go ask maybe somebody that's a little bit more, I don't know. Just look up what pause means if you're curious to know what it means. So he got to telling me stories. He was like, man, that guy, he's just an animal. You know, he was ripping out beds. He was ripping out toilets. He was ripping out sinks. Now, in a cell, everything is concrete, and you don't just rip out toilets. It's not porcelain toilets. It's steel and concrete. You don't just like... So when Fleece tells these stories, it's hard for me to imagine, because I'm like, man, you got to be a beast. But there was a guy that was down there with him, and he said, man, that guy, he didn't care who you were. He's knocking guards out. He's knocking inmates out. He said, now, he'll help an inmate in a heartbeat. He was for you before he'd go against you. But if you get on his bad side, he knock you out. He might stab you. That man's dangerous, man. That man will kill you. Now, this is what this gentleman said that served 35 years in the state pen, and the majority of it at Eddyville. At a time to where Eddyville was very, very rough. I'm not sure what Eddyville is now. I'm hearing that it's not nearly as rough now. A lot of check-ins, protective custody, inmates. I'm not sure. I'm sure that there's still some gorillas down there. So don't, if you got some people in Eddyville, don't, real Ken said, man, all check-ins at Eddyville. No, I didn't say that. But from what I'm hearing is Eddyville is nowhere near how it was, in the 70s, 80s, early 90s, when Fleece Johnson, when this gentleman was, serving their time. So, he just got to telling me some stories, man, about how, Fleece would throw hot water in the CO's face if he couldn't get to him. If he could get to him, man, he's going to fight him. He's going to gouge their eyes out. He's going to do whatever it took. And, guys would try to jump him, 2, 3, 4 dudes. And he'd hold his own against all of them. He'd whoop them all. And if he got a hold of that knife, you better run. What the gentleman told me. And it kind of corresponds with a lot of the stories that Fleece tells. 502 Hustle Spirit. It really falls in line. Because these exact things that this gentleman is telling me that served time with Fleece Johnson, Fleece Johnson said it himself. Fleece say everything he did is documented. And it appears that it's documented. Because I'm a complete stranger. He has no reason to lie to me. I have a lot of times, or a lot of people jump on my comments, especially the people from Kentucky. Not all of them. And I had made a couple videos. Y'all check out my Fleece Johnson videos on my channel. And I had made a couple videos, and I was just saying, I don't believe every Fleece Johnson story. So, people was giving me the third degree, and, it wasn't too bad, but they was just like, come on, bro. Fleece Johnson's everything that he said that he was and is. I never doubted that. The only thing I said was a lot of his stories some of his stories are just outright funny. So I think that he may exaggerate some of his stories a little bit just for the sake of its content. You're telling stories online on the internet. You have to be entertaining. So I'm not saying that he's lying. There's a big difference. I'm not saying that he's lying. I believe that he gave the guards hell. I believe that he stood up for the inmates. I believe that he was a guy that was feared and not to be messed with in prison. I believe it. But some of his stories, man, are just funny to me. So I'm not hating on the man, but I do have a right to my opinion. And if I tell my opinion, if you will, on something, that doesn't mean that I'm hating. It just means that, okay, I believe you, Fleece, but I may not necessarily believe this part. But he's so convincing, because I've even heard the guy interviewing. You be like, come on, Fleece, you did that. Hey, it's documented. It's documented. So when he says it's documented, I mean, hey, ain't nothing else you can really say about it. But there's one thing that was very interesting before I go. I do want to pinpoint this. The gentleman said a lot of people say that Fleece Johnson was a booty bandit. They say that he was down there raping people. And he said that just wasn't the case. And a lot of us, we've heard that. That's always been the rumor. He said that just wasn't the case. Yeah, he did his thing, but it was always with willing participants. He wasn't known for just going up to people and even though he said it, we all seen him say it on the show that he was on. We can do it the easy way, we can do it the hard way. If I want you, I got to have you. A lot of that was for TV, according to this gentleman. And Fleece said the same thing. Said Fleece wasn't down there, man, just raping dudes and making dudes do things that they didn't want to do. It was all, they wanted to get down that way. They floated their boat. Then I guess, they float together. So I just definitely wanted to put that out there and reiterate that, the gentleman said that Fleece definitely was not down there doing a lot of the things that people said that he was doing. So yeah, according to him, Fleece Johnson was definitely a gorilla in prison. Was not to be fooled with. was not to be played with, man. It's not a game. So I just wanted to bring that to you all because, like I said, a lot of people, you see that we're from Kentucky. So, oh, man, do you know Fleece Johnson? Did you do time with him? Was he really like that? See, a lot of you all see him now, and he's like, oh, man, he's just an innocent, harmless, old man now. Well, just understand, rewind maybe 20 years. Heck, 10, 15 years. Rewind back the hands of time. Fleece was a beast, man. Fleece was a beast. And I'm quite sure that, if he had to go back, which I don't think he will. He seemed like his life's on track. He's doing the right thing. But I'm just hypothetically speaking, if he ever had to go back, he'd probably still be a beast, just in a different manner. Just in a different manner. But, yeah, Fleece Johnson, man, was definitely that guy in prison, man, that you didn't want to cross, according to a gentleman that did 35 years, and a lot of those 35 years, he was incarcerated with Fleece Johnson, man. I can't rip a toilet out of the wall, out of the floor, rather, or bed. It's metal, bolted down. How you doing that? Super strength, breaking handcuffs. I can't fathom these things. But hey, Fleece said he did it, and it appears to be documented. Real Kens TV, man. Hopefully you liked the video. Feel free to comment, definitely share, subscribe to the channel. Anytime I bring you this heat, this action, guess what? You're amongst the first to receive it. Now go check out Fleece Johnson. I have no affiliation with those guys. I don't know them. I never met them. Hustle Spirit 502, I believe that's it. And you get all the Fleece Johnson videos, stories. Be prepared to laugh, though. Definitely be prepared to laugh. Signing out, Real Kens TV. I holla.